Hi friends, it's Julie Golding-Page, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in St. Stephen, New Brunswick, Canada, along the tidal Scoodic or St. Croix River, the traditional territory of the Passamaquoddy, and I'm grateful that they share this beautiful place with us. Today I have a card for you using the beautiful perennial lavender paper and also the Umbrella Days stamp set. And I should say, first of all, happy spring, because today is the first official day of spring. And I have a very spring-like card to show you today. So let's get right to it. I've got some stamping news as well. So let's get right into it. So here's a little preview of the card we're going to be making today with the cute little umbrella. I'll show you how to put that all together. And this is our Umbrella Days stamp set. And this is our gorgeous grape ink. So I will get right back to that in a few moments. But I wanted to just give you a little stamping news, because I have a BOGO coming up. This is something I only do twice a year at maximum. And how it works is you purchase whatever you want from the Stampin' Up! Website, or you have me place the order for you if you don't like to do it online yourself. And then you get to choose an equivalent value of items from my extensive retired stash. So I haven't completed getting all of the items ready, but the last BOGO I did had more than 200 different items up for grabs. And all you pay for in terms of the retired items is your shipping. So you buy whatever you want from Stampin' Up! From current items, and then you get to choose for free and just pay the shipping on it to get it to your door, any of the items of equivalent value from my retired stash. So how you get in on the BOGO is you join my BOGO group, and right in this post there is a link to do that. It's a private Facebook group, so we conduct it there outside the public eye. And if you'd like to join, please just put in your request to join. Anybody with a Canadian address can be part of the sale, so you do have to be in Canada for that. If you have any questions, just let me know. I also have information on my website, juliescraftaddict.com, that gives the whole guidelines for the BOGO. So if you want to read up on that ahead of time, you're welcome to do that. I'll let everybody into the BOGO this Sunday, March 23rd at 7 p.m. Atlantic. You can join after that time. I just can't guarantee the availability of all the items, of course, after that. But everybody gets in at 7 p.m. Atlantic on the March the 23rd, Sunday, so that you're all on an equal playing field. And the sale will run through until the 28th of March, which is the next Friday. All right, so I hope to see you there. This is my big customer appreciation event, and I really like to do it. It's so much fun. I also have some classes whose deadlines are coming up soon. So I do have a couple of in-person events as well. You can find them on my page. One is a class here in St. Stephen, and another is an event happening in St. Andrews, both here in New Brunswick. The one in St. Andrews is a fundraiser for the local Charlotte County SPCA animal shelter. So I'm happy to give money to a really good cause there. For my online classes, I also have a fundraiser coming up with this beautiful Cutest Cows stamp set, which is super cute. And we're going to be making some cards that feature blue, yellow, and sunflowers. As you can see, there are sunflowers there in that particular card. The cards will be different than this particular one, but that's just an example of what you can do with the stamp set. And the fundraiser is for Ukrainian children, and a donation of $15 for every class will be given to UNICEF for the benefit of Ukrainian kids. So I'm really happy to contribute to that as well. And you can see there's some other classes going on here too, with stamps that go around corners. This beautiful floral class, and then this kit class. I'm here in the Maritimes on the Atlantic coast, and I love, love, love these new maritime cards. So if you're interested in classes, I do have a link here right in this post, and you can find out more about them there, or just send me off a message if you can't find it, and I'd be happy to fill you in. All right, without further ado, let's go on to our project today. So if you want to make this project at home, you can just get out your Umbrella Days stamp set, and you'll need Gorgeous Grape as your ink. and I'll introduce you to all the other things you're going to need as we go along. So first of all, why don't we do our die cutting? So there is a little bit of die cutting for this, and so we'll definitely want to do that and get that done. And I just realized I left one of my pieces of paper I needed over on the other counter. Let me just grab that. Okay, so we're going to start by cutting this circle with the Stylish Shapes dies. And I love these dies. They are the ones I probably use the most of any of my dies. And I see that they are coming out in the new catalog yet again, so they're not retiring, and I'm really happy about that. So the new catalog comes out May 6th, and they do have these circle dies again, well, these Stylish Shapes dies. And in case you're interested, if you've ever thought about joining Stampin' Up!, one of the cool perks is that we get to see the catalog way ahead of everybody else. So on March the 17th, we get our first look at the online catalog that comes out May 6th, and we actually get to order from it as of the 25th of March. So as a demonstrator, you always get to order several weeks early from all of the new releases, and that is a huge perk, I think. All right, so let's do our little bit of die cutting here. We just got a couple of things. And this is the little mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and it has the instructions right on there. You can see how much I've used my plates here, a lot. So what you do basically to do a basic die cut is you put plate number 1, then you make a sandwich. You have 2 plates number 2. So on your first number 2 plate, you put your paper, then you take your die and you put it the nubbly side down, so that's the cutting side down. The other side is totally flat, so you'll be able to tell. And then you put the second plate number 2 on top. And you can see how weathered my plates are. And that does not affect how they work. I've been using these same plates ever since I got this little machine, which is super good for taking on the road to your cottage or a crop or whatever. And I find the plates last a really long time, no matter how weathered they look. So I do have a new set in my cupboard, but I haven't had to dig them out yet. And I've had them for months and months now. So there is our Stylish Shapes die circle. So that's ready. And now we want to make this little umbrella. So I'll show you how we're going to do that as well. I'm just going to move these dies out of the way here, and we'll get on with our next thing. Okay, so these are the Umbrella Days dies, which have a lot of nice elements in them. So there's the little the little umbrella. Here is the handle, and you can cut out the dog, the child, and the person with the umbrella. So I'll just show you those in the stamps again to remind you. So there's the dog, the child, and the person with the umbrella. And then they give you these extra ones. So these could be clouds. They could be bushes if you wanted. They have little boots that you can put on the people. You can get this little raincoat for the dog, boots for the adult. There's grass there, flowers, all kinds of different little things. So very cute, really, really nice for the springtime. So we're just going to use this umbrella. All right, so the paper that I'm going to use is just this little piece, and I'll show you more about it afterwards. So let's just cut it out first, and I will show you all the different colors that it comes in, because you might want to know about that. Actually, I think I'll switch my plates and put the more weathered one on the bottom. There we go. I like to put the more weathered one on the bottom when I can, because the cutting part will go into that plate and not the one on the top. And sometimes if you have too many cuts in your plate, if you have too many cuts in the plate that you have on top, those cuts will emboss lines right into your image, and you don't necessarily want that to happen. So I try to keep the same one on the bottom all, or at least most of the time. So that's it for our die cut on that part. And I just realized that I forgot to bring something else over. This is what happens when your puppy barks and barks and barks, and you have to delay your Facebook Live because your puppy is barking. So I had to wait till she stopped, and then finally I just had to give up because she kept kind of stopping and starting again. And so I put her down with my husband in his office instead. So he gets to listen to her barking instead of you guys. So there you go. All right, so there's all the little pieces. So we're gonna make a little umbrella out of that after a while. But the other part we need to cut out is this gold handle. So I just realized I forgot to bring my gold paper over. It's a gold foil sheet. So let me just go rummage in my papers just for a minute and I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that, everybody. Now you can see in here, I've got all these little pieces of gold foil. I have saved all these little bits, and I save even little pieces like this that are just half an inch tall, because you never know what you might need it for. I find with those fancy and somewhat more expensive foil papers, it's worth keeping them around because you never know when you might need one for something. So here's our little handle. So let's see. I think we can just use that little piece and that'll be fine. All right, so what I'm gonna do is just get out my little paper snip scissors here. And I'm gonna cut across there, and that's what we'll use. Just that little tiny piece of the gold. And we will go ahead and cut that out now. So we'll make our little sandwich again. So plate number 1, then one of the plates number 2. Now let's see if we can get this positioned on here so we can cut out what we need. And carefully put that on top. If you find your die is moving, I suggest using a washi tape, just any washi tape that you might have at home, or another kind of low tack tape like a painter's tape would work as well. So let's just get that going through. And here we go. And I'd love to hear where you're watching from today and what your spring weather is like. Here it's a little bit foggy out actually. Just kind of a bit of moisture in the air, but no rain. We did have a big rainstorm the last couple of days, but that is done now. It's definitely going to be warmer. We've had an unusually cold winter here in my part of New Brunswick, way colder than we usually get. But the snow is all gone now, and what we have now is a prediction that temperatures will be up in the 10-degree range today. So I'd love to hear what it's like where you are too. Now, see these little holes here? See how that didn't come out? So there's my die cut, but it stuck right in the die. And they have prepared these little holes that you can poke it out. And this tool that I'm using is called the Take Your Pick tool. And it's a really useful little thing because there you go, just like that, you can poke it right out. So that's the kind of pokey end. And then it has another end here, which is putty, and that'll pick up your tiny little embellishments if you need to use it for that. Another use that you can have for this pointy end is to lift up, and I'll show you here, the adhesive backing. So if you can't quite get that backing off one of your adhesive pieces, like dimensional, you can use this to just kind of lift it up. And see how I just lifted that off? Yeah, so it can help you with those tiny, tiny little tasks. And I'm sure there are lots of other uses you could have for it as well, but those are just a few of them that I use it for. Okay. So now we can start building all these extra little things. Okay, so let's start building our card first. Oh no, I was going to show you the papers, wasn't I? Yeah, the papers that I used to make that umbrella. So I'm going to get the right name for this paper, and it is called Pastel Ombre Glimmer Paper. Ombre is O-M-B-R-E. And if you're interested in any of these items, just use the link right in the post where it says learn more. That'll take you to my blog post about this exact project. And I have a full supply list there with pictures, so you'll be able to see that. So when you buy this pastel ombre glimmer paper, it comes in 12 by 12 inches, and it gives you 6 pieces of it. So you get, oops, I've got an extra one here. So you get 12 by 12. This is half of the 12 by 12 because I've used a bunch of mine. So you get one each of these 3 colors. And the ombre thing, if you're not familiar with that word, it's just going from dark to light and light to dark in one piece of paper. And it's got all of this beautiful glitter embedded right in it so that you don't have a glitter storm in your house. It's right in the paper and it doesn't come off. So there's the one that goes from kind of pink to a deeper purple. This one goes from a lighter blue all the way to kind of an aqua. And this one goes from like a yellow into a deeper green. So very, very pretty and all kinds of possibilities for that paper. So that's what I used to make our little umbrella here. Okay, so I'm just going to move my dies out of the way, but I'm going to put them back on here first because I don't want to lose them. They're such tiny pieces. I like to keep them all together whenever I can. So I'm just going to put those back in the envelope here and put those to the side. Okay, so now we can put our card together. So here is our card base. This is crumb cake paper, cardstock, and you can see I've scored it. I hope you can see that score line. So what I've done is I've just cut an 8.5 by 11 paper in half so that it is now 5.5 by 8.5. And then I've scored a line here at 2 1/8. I flipped it over and I scored a line at 2 1/8 on that side as well. And then what that enables us to do is to fold on those 2 lines and make a fancy fold card that is, it looks fancy, but it's actually super easy. So it just opens like that in the middle. And I think it's a really cute way to have it. So we're going to take our balloon folder to make a nice crisp fold to keep it closed. All right, and that's all we need to do for it. I'm going to put a white panel in the middle, and I cut this to 3 3/4 by 5 inches to leave a bit of space around the outside. You could make it bigger or smaller as you like, but that's kind of my favorite for an internal panel. On this particular card, you could definitely just write on this card base, but I just think it looks more finished on a colored card base if you have a white piece inside. It just kind of gives it a frame. You could stamp some more on that if you wanted, or put some die cuts, but I like to write letters, and so I always leave my cards blank. So that's why you won't see me decorate them inside very often. Okay, so that's done. Now we're going to use some of this beautiful floral paper. And back at the beginning of the week, I asked people which paper I should use. I always ask this on like Monday or Tuesday on my Julie's Craft Attic Facebook page, just to see what everybody would like to see in my project for the week. So this time I said, did you want this paper or a sky-based paper? It's called Everyday Skies, which is also really nice. And I've talked about it in my blog post too, so you can click through to that if you want to see the other paper. But everybody, by a landslide, chose this one. And this is from a pack called Perennial Lavender. So you can see it's got white flowers, it's got purple flowers in various shades. It's got little butterflies on that variety. This one has got flowers and is kind of more linear with the flowers going up and down. And the backs all have kind of purple prints as well. So I was happy to use this paper because honestly, I don't really use purple that much in card making, and it's a really nice thing to be able to use it for a change. So we're just going to use our Stamp and Seal, or whatever your favorite adhesive is. If you like a liquid glue, I really like this one that Stampin' Up! Sells. It's the Tombow Multi-Purpose Liquid Glue. It's got a fine tip and a broad tip, and I really like it a lot. So anything that you see in my videos actually will be from Stampin' Up! Because I find that their adhesives and everything else they sell is of the highest quality, and I really like that about them. I like to know that what I'm using will all coordinate nicely because all their colors coordinate, and I also like that their quality is really good. And in fact, they won't hesitate to take something off their website if they think the quality doesn't meet their standards, even if they know that people will be annoyed by that. And I really respect their commitment to quality. I think that is an excellent thing, to know that you can count on their quality. Okay, so there, I put those little pieces of paper on there. And if you're looking for the dimensions here, it's 1 7/8 inches that way and 5 1/4 that way. Okay, so I just cut those to have kind of a little buffer around the edges, as you can see there. And really, really super simple so far, nothing complicated at all. So now let's do our stamping here. All right, so we're going to use Gorgeous Grape. And the sentiment I used before was, "You are the umbrella to my rainy days," which is a really nice one. This has some really encouraging ones. Also, it has "The storm will end and the sun will shine again," and "Be brave." So I think it's some really positive sentiments for people who might be having a bit of a difficult time. So let's go ahead with that. And I'm going to open my Gorgeous Grape here. Alrighty. So there it is. And I just tap, tap, tap. We don't want to squish into this foam stamp pad because that would put ink everywhere. It will come off easily because it is water-based, so that's not a problem. But nobody really wants to have their hands all purple. So, so I'd suggest you just do some taps until your image is covered the way you want. Hold down your stamp several seconds and then pick it up, and it should give you a really nice quality image, especially with a color like Gorgeous Grape. That works really well. Okay, so that is done. So that's all our stamping for now. And we're going to close our ink pad. So now what we need to do is create our little umbrella. So what I did was I put it on a piece of this crumb cake paper. And my goodness, I'm disorganized, I guess, today because I forgot that paper too. Well, this is the last thing that I can possibly forget because there's nothing else to do after this for the card. Let me see. So let me see if I can go and get it. And something else has gone missing. Have you ever had a day like that where you got everything prepared and then all of it disappeared? Like just all of it. How many times have I said I had to go get another thing? And now it's all disappeared again. All right, I'll get my paper. I think what's happened is I'm in the middle of preparing my BOGO for this weekend. So I have boxes and stacks of stuff for my retired stash everywhere in my office right now. And I think I set some things out underneath some of the stacks, and now I can't find them. But anyways, hopefully you'll be able to identify with that. I'm just a regular person, and I definitely don't have it all together any more than anyone else, that's for sure. Okay, that's actually one of the reasons I like card making. It doesn't demand that you do have everything together. I love that about it. It's a kind of hobby where if you make what you think is a mistake, it might actually turn out to be kind of a fortuitous accident that really turns out for the best. Now I see that that's in the wrong place, so I'm going to take that off. I'm going to flip that over. We're going to do that again. Yeah, sorry about that. I put that together in the wrong place. Then I kind of ripped this paper, but that's all right. This is exactly illustrating what I'm trying to tell you, so that's all right. So card making, there's almost always a way out, even if it doesn't turn out the first time quite the way you want it. So I'm just going to stick this back together. That'll be fine. And we're going to put it on the other side of the paper. All right. Now, before I do that, what I was going to tell you before I got sidetracked was it's good to lay this out first to make sure that it kind of goes together the way you want it to. So let's just put this all together and we'll see where this piece needs to go. Okay, so that should work really well. It's always better to put your pieces together first, I find, and then stick them down. So it's kind of like the old adage of cut or measure twice, cut once. It's kind of like that in that you want to arrange first, stick later. So that's kind of a new one. I find that works out really well. Okay, so there's my second piece of my umbrella. And let's do this. All right. So here's one more piece that goes on there. And the final piece is this one. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cut it out, because actually none of the dies cut out the umbrella. They cut out the pieces of the umbrella, but not the whole umbrella together, which is why I'm doing it this way. But it's actually a pretty simple thing to do. I'm just going to stick that down really well there so it doesn't move. All right, so you can see there's my little umbrella. Looks pretty nice. And we're going to just get out our paper snip scissors, and we are going to cut that out. So I'm just going to leave a little bit of a buffer around the whole thing. Okay, so just cutting out with a little outline around it. You don't really have to fuss over that, because the fact is we're going to put this umbrella onto another piece of crumb cake paper, our circle there. And that's why I use crumb cake underneath here, so that you don't have to really pay attention to making a super great cutting job, because you're going to have the same color underneath the umbrella as is on your circle. So it just makes it easier for you to do it that way. So there it is. And let's put that together now. Okay, so now we need our little piece here. So we're going to put our little umbrella together. So there's part of our umbrella. And this is going to be longer than you need. So again, I'd arrange that first. So you can kind of put it wherever you think. Kind of hold it down and put the other piece of the umbrella on to see where you want it to go. And that looks pretty good. So I think I'll just put this umbrella handle on. So here we go. You really don't need a lot of glue on here. I'm just trying to get the tiniest little dots, because this glue sticks really hard. So I never want to use too much of it, because it's really not necessary. Okay, so that should do it. All right, let's put it like that. All right. Okay, so there's that one. I'll just wipe up that little bit of glue. The great thing about this glass mat, which you can buy from Stampin' Up, is it's got many different purposes. One is that it'll measure really well, because it's got all of these lines in 1/4 inch squares. It's easy to clean, so I'll be able to get that glue off without any trouble at all. And you can also use it as a cushion underneath your photopolymer stamps. That's the clear stamps. And I really like that about it, because the clear stamps don't come with a built-in cushion, so you do need a cushion underneath. And I find that the glass mat is just perfect for that. So it kind of saves you having to have an old piece of cardboard around or something like that. And I just really enjoy using the glass mat. I just got mine last summer, I think it was. I was a little late getting to it compared to some people, but I really, really like it a lot. Okay, so here is the front of our card. So we're only going to adhere half of this circle, right? Because if we adhere the whole circle, our card won't open. So we're just going to adhere this side. So as long as it's not more than halfway, and you can measure it if you want, or you can just kind of eyeball it, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a line down the middle like that. And that's how we'll do it. So I just put it on half, on the left half. Okay, and let's put it right over here. Try to arrange it kind of evenly. There it is. And we're going to put on our embellishments next. So I've just got these 3 little adhesive sequins. Stampin' Up! Has lots of different embellishments that you can use. On my sample card here, I use these iridescent adhesive back discs, and those ones are listed in the blog post if you want to see the other colors they come in. I really like those. And then I also had some of these white, which also have an iridescent finish, little sequins, and so I thought I'd use them on this card. So you can always change it up just to kind of make it more interesting for you if you're making multiple cards. And that is the end of that card. So here's what it looks like inside. So I hope that you enjoyed this project. I hope you really love this paper, this perennial lavender paper, which is so pretty. It's going to be staying in the new catalog that'll be out for the next year starting May 6th. So that's good news. We can continue to use this beautiful paper. And if you don't have a demonstrator, I'd be delighted to help you with your crafting needs. Just send me off a message. And don't forget about my BOGO. So the link to join my BOGO, and you have to join the private Facebook group to be part of my BOGO that starts this Sunday. But the link for it is right in this post. And I would be happy to help you with anything you need regarding crafting. So thanks again for watching my video, and have a wonderfully crafty week. Bye for now.